may have dodged a bit of a bullet with Geno?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll be obviously sore this week. He's got a pretty good contusion. But I like his chances. And in Orlando will be questionable this week, as we work through that one. But, again, both those guys having to come out and miss the game to see that it's going to be certainly more short-term is positive.
Back to Orlando, there's a report out that he has it's a calf strain. Is it a calf strain that he can play through or one that he would need some time off to?
Yeah, we'll just take it day to day.
How did you think Zach Moss did in pass protection yesterday, and how's he done overall this year?
I think he's done a great job this year. And yesterday he had a tough matchup on some double-A stuff, with some quickness there at linebacker. I'm not sure if that's why you're asking that one.
No, I mean, he helped out with Cody some too, and
Yeah.
he held up pretty well.
He does a really good job. Okay, now I know what direction you're going there. Helping on those edges, because we face some tough rushers. He's got great awareness of, we tag some calls and some protections to get those guys, and Zach and Chase both do a really good job of making sure they can lend the presence where we need it. But he's got great awareness on just how the protection works and how quickly he can get out. You look at, he had 2 huge checkdowns for us yesterday in the pass game. One of them was, we completed it to him short of the sticks because that's really where the ball's got to go, and he fought for extra yardage, got us a big first down, and then the one that spit out led to the scoring drive. So overall, he's got tremendous awareness in the pass game and the protection part of things, and that's what we thought when we signed him, and so he's been a big piece of that.
I know you were asked this yesterday, but after watching the film, what did you think of Cody Ford's performance?
Yeah, I thought he did what we needed him to do. It's one of the toughest matchups you can have in all of football, and he gave us what we needed to win. And so, again, really pleased with – he's got a composure about himself. He's a veteran. He's played a lot of games in this league, and so it's not too big for him. He goes in there and does his job, and it's good to know that we can count on him.
Would you say Orlando's questionable, day-to-day or week to week? What do you think?
I'd say day to day. I'd just say we'll see where it gets through every single day this week, and go from there.
How well has he played this year? The numbers suggest that he's been really good, among the best tackles in the league. How do you think he's been this year?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's done a really good job. I think our line's done a really good job. I walked out yesterday, and you have the sequencing, the second to last drive before the half. We had 2 sacks, and you're on the sidelines, you're calling plays, and you can't exactly see what happens. And then you watch the tape, and overall, we had that 2-play stretch. But I thought those guys did a really good job. Some of the times the coverages was pretty tight, and so there was nowhere for Joe to go with the ball on 2 of those sacks. And so we held it, trying to create something, and then eventually a guy got free. But I was really pleased altogether with the protection that they're giving Joe, and faced some really good defensive lines and pressure looks. And those guys do a great job communicating. And just going back to Orlando, we've been really pleased with what we've gotten from him this year.
If Orlando did have to miss time, would there be any discussion about putting Amarius at left, or do you not want to mess with that on a short term?
No, I think Amarius is doing a really good job at right tackle. He's comfortable there. Of course, we always talk through what are the best options for our offensive line. Anytime we have something, we got to adjust. But I'm pleased with how he's doing over there.
How do you view the depth at tackle right now? Or do you have to consider somebody movement around the guys you have in the background, or?
You always talk through everything, and it's the truth of it is, those would be 2 guys we've lost with Trent and Orlando if Orlando's not able to play. But again, that's why you got Cody Ford. That's why you got some veterans in there that can fill in at different spots and not be overwhelmed by it, and you've got confidence in them, and that's what Cody's given us.
Because of what happened to Joe last year and him admitting that maybe he rushed back a little bit too quickly with the calf strain, does that factor in your decision at all about how you're going to manage this with Orlando?
No, I think it's no.
When you got Cody, I think at the time, at least publicly, it was portrayed that he would compete for right tackle. How has his versatility kind of impressed you and made him more valuable?
I mean, his versatility goes back to the draft. When he was coming out of OU, the way we looked at him, it was kind of guard tackle conversation. To see his career transpire in Buffalo and Arizona, he's done both of that. He's come here and done it all, and just whatever position you put him at, he just approaches it the right way and gives you belief that he can do the job. And so, again, that's a good quality to have and a backup lineman. You got to be versatile, and he's done that for us.
You said yesterday was some one-on-one stuff in the run game. The film show what you were thinking yesterday about maybe why some runs.
There's a couple times we're just one block away, and it's a different guy, different point of attack, backside, front side, and it's challenging when they've got that kind of speed that they have. That's where it presents some issues, and so you always say, you can be a little bit better, but at the same time, you got to give them credit for their speed, and they can make it difficult on you. And so again, you just got to keep sticking with certain things, and eventually you get a drive that breaks through, and you get some points on the board. And I think those are the opportunities we took advantage of in the third quarter yesterday.
What did film show you yesterday about stopping the run? Obviously, Nick Chubb has had his days against you guys. He had 22 yards on 11 carries. What
Yeah.
did you see positive there?
It's huge. I mean, anytime you can do your best to make a team one-dimensional, you play some teams that you feel like their identity is set around the run game, and so you do everything you can to try to take that away. So again, I was proud of the effort. The quarterback got out on one, zone read that he kept for a big play. But aside from that, when you talk specifically about the running backs, I thought our guys did a really good job honing in and getting the ball carriers on the ground. Not many missed tackles, one of the fewest we've had all season. And so that was critical, not getting those explosives out in the run game and putting them in some tough situations on second and third down.
Is the defensive line as a whole just starting to gel right now?
I think you're just finally seeing us healthy and everybody back to full speed. And so it's good because now you got some depth you can roll through there and have some confidence with. And so I thought that all 8 of those guys played a good number of snaps yesterday and were able to help us do the things we need to do to put pressure on them.
What's the thing you like the most out of the defense these last 2 weeks?
Not giving up points. It's as simple as that.
Is there an aspect of how they're playing, or is there anything in the way that they're operating as a unit that you think you really liked that's enabled them to not give up points?
I think they're doing a good job communicating. I think just making the tackles when they're in space has been really pleasing to see. I think there's a lot of good things that stand out. I think the coverage has been good. The one-on-one coverage, guys are competing. Guys are getting pressure on the quarterback. When they do check the ball down, you see 2 or 3 guys there flying around, getting the ball carrier on the ground. If they do have a stretch where they have 2 or 3 positive plays, the guy's not getting discouraged and kind of bowing up and keeping the points off the board. And so I think there's been a lot of positives there, especially the last 2 weeks.
See, when you got a game like that, that type of whatever you want to call it, just a really closely contested physical game, what do those kind of backs give you, Zac and Chase? What kind of a lift do they give you in that type of game?
Well, I mean, again, it just goes back to when you can just your defense keeps you in it long enough to where you can keep giving them some carries and 1 or 2 of them pop and they put you in scoring range, and then it just takes one explosive pass and you're on the board. And so I think that's really where to not get frustrated when it's a 0, 1, 2, and knowing we're just we can read it a little differently. We can make one more block that's a little different. It opens everything up. And so you just saw Chase's big run to start the third quarter really open everything up for the offense. Not just the run game, it's everything. Then you hit a play action, and then everything starts to get into sync, and it just kind of catapults the offense, and we get some better rhythm and go from there.
It seems like they don't mind doing the dirty,
No, they don't.
windows, you know what I mean, doing the stuff that matters.
Yeah, they're willing to help where we want them to help with the protection. They're available as the checkdowns. They do a good job when we hand the ball to them. And so, again, 2 guys that unselfish and are just willing to help this offense move forward.
Is there anything you think DJ could have done differently on that PI? What would you make of the coverage and kind of how he did on that play specifically?
When got to turn and look for the ball a little sooner, I think, and then when the receiver plays into you, sometimes it can look worse than it is. I can see what happens. It's obviously you want to avoid it as best you can. It's kind of unfortunate sometimes where the ball is thrown creates that look, but I think just turn around and getting your eyes on it sooner will help.
How do you feel like he settled in as that sort of?
I think he's done a good job. I think DJ. He's every week. I don't think he's ever lacked confidence, but I see coming along more and more. The more reps he gets, the more guys go after him, and he's able to make some plays. And so again, I'm pleased with the direction that he's headed.
How important were Eric and Drew just even in the game planning you did? And obviously they ended up playing a lot of snaps together.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, very smart. You can count on them to help you in a lot of different ways, and they do an excellent job executing their jobs and allow us to be a little more versatile just with some of the run scheme, you saw them both in the backfield at times. You saw both of them motioning. They got different jobs. They got to assess the defense oftentimes on the move. And so, and in protection, sometimes those guys were 2-on-1 on the defensive ends as well to try to take some of the pressure off the O-line. And so I thought they did a nice job executing their jobs.
Not to turn it into a referee thing, but last 2 weeks, Cordell has had pretty critical holding penalties that look like he was doing kind of similar type of things. Are there coaching points to him on those 2 plays that he's making, or how do you approach those plays?
You want our guys to play physical. And sometimes when you I think they're both a little more different than you might initially think.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're out in space and you're vulnerable there to be opened up, and sometimes it's real, sometimes they can react a certain way to kind of get the call. It was a bang play there, and so I think it can go either way, and they called it, and so we just got to be able to overcome that.
On the topic of the refs, the pass interference.
Guys, sorry.
Well, I'm just curious because the pass interference that they wiped off against Jamar, was that video assisted that determined it was uncatchable, or did another?
I'm waiting to hear on that one.
What's that?
I'm waiting to hear on that one.
Outside of Gino and Orlando, did anything else pop up injury-wise?
No. I mean, guys will be sore. Defense played a lot of snaps. But aside from that, I think we're relatively clean coming out of that one.
You see anything on film about the opening kickoff that you didn't see live?
Guys just did their jobs. I mean, everybody did a really nice job. Drew's the one who's in isolation, one-on-one, and Charlie's got to play off of him. And then Charlie finished the run. So I think everybody did their job, opened up a big void. Drew's right in the middle of that hole. And again, that's just like blocking for a bubble on the perimeter. He just kind of got to cover the guy up and let Charlie go off of that. He did a good job setting up the kicker, and then it's a dead sprint. Did a great job with the strength on the sideline there at the very end to finish the playoff. And so great momentum starter there for our team. Especially when we got Nick Chubb running out of the tunnel, and cool environment that they got there for us to immediately take back the momentum. I thought that was a critical play in the game, obviously, and we didn't score in the first half on offense. And so to have the 7-6 lead because of a big special teams play and allow us just to hang in there and finally find our groove there in the third quarter was really the play of the game, ultimately.
Do you think that type of return would have been possible under the old system, under the old format?
That is not quite my expertise. I'd have to go back and watch a lot of kickoff returns to know that one, but I don't know.
Was that a return that you saw in film as though that they were pretty close to breaking it, and then to break it yesterday? Was that something you had seen the last few weeks?
I think that's an excellent job by Darren, just with the scheme of putting guys in a position, even a little different positions than we've been in previously on all of our returns. And so he did a really good job trying to put us in the best position to win there, and the guys believing in the look and executing it. And so I thought that was a really good job there by Darren and the whole unit, kind of taking that look and running with it and starting the game the right way.
The passing game has been very T and Jamar centric the last couple of weeks, which obviously that's okay, right?
You got a problem with that?
No, but you guys were really liking how everybody was kind of contributing for that. Is that like you guys are is that the way teams have been playing you? You wish you were going back to getting more people involved in the passing game, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, really, the truth is it's always we're going to get the ball to whoever's open as best you can. Sometimes when you're in a game like that, you get a little more man coverage. You're trying to find more ways to get T and Jamar. They're your best players, so you're trying to find ways to get them some one-on-ones and get them the ball to get us a spark. And so again, there's plenty of plays in our playbook, and as you all know, there's always opportunities for another guy to have 5 to 10 catches in the game. That's just the way it can go. And just the last 2 weeks, the way it's shaken out, it hasn't been that way. And we'll just continue to scheme it up every week to where whoever's open is going to get the ball and just going to do a good job finding them. But there's going to be some times we're going to find ways to get Jamar and T the ball and make sure that they get it, and make sure if we're stalling a little bit, who's going to give us a spark? Generally, those two guys are going to get it. I mean, we threw Jamar a bubble that he got 8 yards on when pretty much everybody else in the league is going to get 0 yards. And so, again, he made the first guy miss and then carried another 6 guys, another 7 yards. And sometimes that is a spark. The whole sideline feels that. Again, shame on us if we're not finding more ways to get them touches.
How would you describe T's mental, the way he's approached these mentally, starting from training camp to
it's not training camp for me. It's just conversations all spring. It's just that this guy's always been about the right stuff. Always know we can count on T. He's shown that every single day he's been in this building. He has been the same guy, same attitude, just a winner, and trying to do everything he can to move this offense forward. And when he gets his opportunities, he makes the most of it.
For a guy in his position specifically, how difficult is that to be that consistent, be that kind of guy?
You know, I can only speak to him, and he shows no signs of a guy being in that position. You know, he's out here loving football and doing a great job elevating his teammates. And when his number is called, he steps up and does a great job communicating. You love being around him. You know, you can't ask for a better player on your team. Thank you.
Clapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.